Disability and sexuality. Now this is a hot topic. I know a lot of you will probably be interested in this kind of viewpoint. Now when it comes to the different disabilities, obviously there may be a few different things that may be different for when it comes to sexuality. But this is my viewpoint based on the things that were talked about in Crip Camp. It was an excellent movie, excellent documentary. And if you like this video, please consider sticking around. This channel, it's all built around showing positivity, especially in a world that is so negative, and showing you a different approach you can take on life. That has created me success, and I know it will create you as well. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, or subscribe. Please subscribe, that would help out a lot. And you will get more great content just like this. Okay guys, so there's this point where it says like when you're disabled, you aren't considered a man or a woman. You're just considered as a person with a disability. And when it comes to relationships, there really isn't a point of it because you're considered asexual, and you're viewed as a person that doesn't have.
Your pain will go away, huh?
Nope. You don't have that want or the desire, and you maybe aren't capable of that as well. And guys, and since this video, since this movie, when it comes to have times changed that much, no, they haven't. There's still this huge view. I mean, look at this most recent movie with one of my favorite actresses, the mother of all Reagan. And Me Before You, that movie, they said, it's my review on it if you want to watch. This is from a few years ago. But they said, he said, as a quadriplegic, which is so not true for a portion of us, great portion, that I wish I could do all the things to you, but I can't. And this and this and this and that. But stating the fact, we aren't capable of doing that. Even if I wanted to. And let's say he couldn't do that one thing. He could still do a shit ton of things. Oh yeah. He could work his way around things. And if he doesn't think he can, he's not creative enough. But those things are kind of frustrating, because and kind of disappointing, because we're put in this spot where we're considered taboo. We're considered taboo, and apologize for my neighbor, and we would, and the main public would rather, put us in this boat so it makes them feel more comfortable, while we can be in this spot of isolation, spot of not feeling like we can or cannot have certain things because of being a certain way. And it's a lot for a lot of people. For me, I want to say the first 3 years were the toughest. Potentially even 4. I've been disabled now 8 years. And eventually my studies, my desire of pursuing, this speaking career, this entrepreneur business, kind of gave me other things to focus on. But if there wasn't that, and if I wasn't, the person I am today, I mean, I definitely see how getting how getting stuck in that suppression, can be. And yeah, it's not good, guys. All right, now we're really getting into the kind of the dirty as well, but dirty in a good way. And there's this girl, she had cerebral palsy, and she had this affair with a bus driver. And I'm looking at this, I'm reading this, and her response was great. I mean, I just had a big smile because, like with all the portraying of, disabled as asexual, maybe they just don't have that desire, or they can't physically or mentally perform. It's really sad. But this instance in particular, she had married a individual that was also disabled, and because they both were disabled, they couldn't physically do the things that they needed to do. And I've seen this one documentary where this couple was placed. They were placed in certain positions, and their caregivers helped them out. But in this case, this was a while ago, and I don't know if they weren't comfortable having caregivers do that, or the ones that they were just not comfortable with. I don't know the whole story, but when it comes to this instance, she was like, I don't want to die a virgin. So she decided to have this experience with her bus driver. And I think that is fabulous. I'm not saying I promote affairs, but I think she did what all of us desire, what is a hierarchy of need, and a lot of the time this need gets ignored or pushed to the sidelines for disabled. So I'm happy that she was able to get this basic human need that typically everybody else gets. And that's also one reason why I don't think I would ever marry a disabled, or at least somebody disabled to my extent, because there would be that lack of physical touch, unless of people being placed in. But like I said, like if you're fairly creative, I mean, there's alternatives, but to each their own. Different strokes for different folks. This is the same lady. God, I love this lady. Her sense of humor, it's pretty good. And once again, guys, this is too sensitive information for you. This is where you can jump to. But this lady, she had cerebral palsy, and she had this terrible pain in her stomach, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, I think it is, is it gallbladder? Now I can't remember exactly what organ, but they removed it, and it turns out that no, that was not the issue, but that surgeon just couldn't believe that she was sexually active. So he said, okay, that wasn't it. I think you may have gonorrhea. And she said for a moment, she was so proud. And God, that just cracked me up. Because, everybody should be entitled to that basic human need. And she got it. And unfortunately got something else. Okay. This next part is kind of interesting. There's certain times where I'll watch this this certain part of the movie where there is provocative dressing. This guy, is dressing like a girl, and then there was these other ones that, were just dressed in real sexy too, that were ladies, and I see these disabled people, these people with disabilities, for a more grammatically correct way of saying it, and I see them and I'm thinking, this is something else. And I'm thinking, like sometimes I forget that I have this disability, but at the same time I'm like, that looks like a lot of fun, and it's like, it kind of like reminds me, and people that are to the point where they're that comfortable with being themselves, it's beautiful, really is. And if we all were at that point and there wasn't judgment, we got rid of that judgment, I mean, what a wonderful, place this would be, like that song says. And there's people for everybody, different people like different things, and no matter what you're doing, there's going to be, maybe it's career-wise, maybe it's relationship-wise, maybe it's something, but there's going to be some kind of audience for it. Okay, back to kind of the mushy stuff. There was this other disabled individual, and he went on his very first date, and there was just this love in the air, and his girlfriend was there, and they got to make out all the time. And what I liked about this is, like, they said, if you wanted to do it, you could participate. And at this time, even at times now, I mean, it can be difficult to be in any kind of relationship. And actually being here in California, I've had, people confront me, some more blunt than others, and when you aren't in a place where there's 10 million people here, when you're in a place where, it's a small town, when you're in a place where there isn't much exposure to that, it kind of makes those situations harder to get to. So I'm just super excited that, there's these options that you could pursue if you wanted to. Alright, then there was this one counselor, that was showing a camper, had cerebral palsy, how to kiss. And he was like, that was the best physical therapy I ever got. And God, did I love this too. I can only imagine, there's some people think things are more white and black, but there is a gray line, and I think it's really individualized on where that gray line lies, and who's comfortable crossing it, and what crossing really is crossing, or is just living. I mean, there's this person that I was talking to. Actually, I've talked to a lot of people about not necessarily this very specific thing in general, but there's a set of guidelines, right? When it comes to pretty much everything in disability, and those rules and regulations are a guideline of how you should treat somebody, a guideline of what you should and shouldn't do, and when it comes between you and that person, that is, a decision that you and that person make, and in this case, that's what they did. then this guy, and I just read it now, he on his first date, this other fellow camper, he had cerebral palsy. I'm not sure what she had. He said, in quotes, we also had our first date. This might not be quoted exactly. And another fellow camper put her hand on my cock. And that was heaven. And just hearing that, oh my God, guys. I mean, I listened to it, and for me, it, because there was a decent amount of like isolation for me as well, for a good amount of the years. You hear something like that, and you kind of just smile. I'm trying to think of like an analogy, and then the only one I can think of is like, okay, I can't think of an example, but when you have so much, like when you have this one thing that you can't do, sometimes not by your choice, and then you finally see somebody that also couldn't do that, and then has their first time of doing that, or is now able to do that, you're happy for them. You congratulate them, you smile, you whatever. I guess that's what I think about that. And then right after that, two people got crabs, and they started spreading it, and it's like, oh my God. Yeah, the place they were at, maybe not the cleanest environment. But some of them were just as happy, like, wow, I got crabs, guys. It's a great point of view. Then this other guy was talking about like how some people must feel and how some people do feel. He was like, right now I can scrub my genitals. I think he said balls, and then some people that can't feel a little less. And I try to think like as far back as I can for when I couldn't do a certain thing, and when a certain person helped me that I kind of like felt uncomfortable with. Only because like I was embarrassed for them to do it. It wasn't necessarily, like one of my older nurses or one of my younger nurses, but like one that I like kind of, let's say, could have had a crush on. And I guess I can remember a couple points where I was like this early on. Only early on. Now, guys, I can have 8 people around me, and I'm showing them how to use a catheter. And when I use a catheter, and this might be too much information, if you want to skip like 30 seconds, you skip it. But us quadriplegics, we can't mentally, do anything. Can't bring our legs up. Can't, move our abdominal muscles, pretty much nothing below here, also like bicep and stuff. But there are a good portion of us that, still rise up when there is any stimulation. And like even a catheter, something that you would think would hurt, still does that. And yeah, I have no problem showing anybody that. I think way back in the day that would have been a little bit more of an issue. Not necessarily cathing, but maybe with a certain person. Yeah. I want to say that when I used to wear a diaper, the first 2 years I wore a diaper, then I'm like, I'm done with this diaper stuff. Actually, I was done with the diaper stuff before that. 2 years I had the trach. I think it wasn't even a year, guys. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try underwear. and then eventually just got rid of that because it's making hard pressure points on my legs. But when it comes to like some of those things, I think it also takes a lot of development, a lot of self-development to be okay with that, being okay with other people doing it, and being okay, you know, in this new skin, in this new body that you have. Then, this blew my mind. A disabled person was helping another disabled person shower. And I thought, wow, I have never tried that. And maybe getting a disabled helper wouldn't be too bad. I mean, there's different times where I've actually helped my disabled friend like get his phone because like it fell on his knee and he couldn't reach it or something like that. Gosh, I do not know why I'm coughing so bad. I think I'm better now. Yeah, back to showers. I don't know. I think that'd be very interesting, like me. And so, but then again, like if you physically can do it, I mean, what is it? Okay, so like one person gives me a shower and they're able to, that's okay. But then a disabled giving me a shower, that's not. I mean, if you kind of break it down like that, and you think like, okay, you know, maybe it wouldn't be as weird as I think it would. I mean, right offhand, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of interesting. And the last thing, which actually I'm sure this is not the last thing for you, they built in able people helping the disabled. You know, they knew they would have to do bathroom showers and like getting it out of the pool. Well, I hope you liked the video, and remember that these are my experiences and obviously the experiences as these people as well, and everybody's individual, and you got to treat everybody individual as well. But I'm glad you stuck around, and if you did like this, please subscribe. I make more content, not necessarily just like this video based around this topic, but other great topics as well. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it. You have a wonderful day, and just try to look at things a little bit differently. You know, everybody's a different individual human, and if you are in the point of like maybe approaching somebody that has one, or you're the one that has a disability and you want to approach somebody that either does or doesn't, you know, give it a try. I know there's so much mixed communication out there, but it's just another human, and they are more capable than you think. Have a wonderful day, guys, and if you want to watch more of this specific thing, please look at the card and you can watch the whole review.